What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. The Yankees, you officially have my attention. You officially have my attention, New York Yankees, with these recent rumors that are finally biting back on Scott Boras and Cody Bellinger. It's been a long time coming, man. They've waited far too long to finally just take a step back and go, come on. What are we doing here? In my opinion, this is just my opinion. I wonder if you guys agree. I believe that Scott Boras and Cody Bellinger have conducted themselves disingenuously. I think that they have been disingenuous in these negotiations. It's completely unreasonable what they're demanding. 7 years, $37 million AAV. It's completely unreasonable. You'd be being paid just slightly under Aaron Judge. I mean, come on. I mean, let's get real here. I mean, as soon as they saw those numbers being thrown around, they should have just backed out anyway. And to offer 5 years, over $30 million, which they apparently did, and then Cody Bellinger still not thinking that's enough, that's disingenuous. It really is. It's not realistic. It's absurd. And I mean, way above his value. Way above his value. Let's be honest. As a player, Cody Bellinger's a good player. Not a great player. Not an all-star player. You know? Not an all-star player. He's not been an all-star since 2019. 4 out of his last 6 years, he's been an average to below average ball player. The Cubs let him go for nothing. Cody Poteet, and DFA'd Cody Poteet not long after. That was a salary dump. You don't salary dump superstars, people. Right, and then Dodgers non-tendered. They were happy with him. He won an A with the Dodgers, and then soon after that, they non-tendered him because he completely fell off a cliff. So let's not pretend that Cody Bellinger is this must-have superstar. It's completely disingenuous to think that he is. So these negotiations have not been conducted with any kind of sense of realism here. You look at the rest of the market, and Pete Alonso, 5 years, Schwarber, 5 years, now Alex Bregman, 5 years. That's perfectly reasonable. 5 years tops for Cody Bellinger, let's be honest here. So I think the Yankees are finally doing something right. Now, we don't know yet whether this is just them posturing. It's very possible that they're posturing, that this is just a negotiation tactic going, right, we're out. You come to us if you're realistic. But otherwise, this is the right call from the Yankees. I have to just straight up say this. I think this is the right call from the Yanks. Better players are available than Cody Bellinger as we speak right now. His name is Kyle Tucker. Heck, his name is Bo Bichette. Those two players are better than Cody Bellinger. So it makes all the sense in the world to pivot to one of those two. And you can look at the trade market. There's just so many better ways to spend what would be like $200 million. So much better ways to spend $200 million than Cody Bellinger. So I'm very relieved that the Yankees have taken a step back here as negotiations are officially at an impasse. So let's have a look and see what the rumors are. The rumor mill is saying here. So I've got an article from Buster Olney, who broke the news. Right. He says here, between the New York Yankees and Cody Bellinger, the veteran outfielder, played well for them last season, but are now operating under the assumption that Bellinger is going to sign elsewhere. They are operating under the assumption that Bellinger is going to sign elsewhere. I'm going to highlight that because that is absolute music to my ears. New York is now seeking additions elsewhere, sources added. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you. The Yankees have offered Bellinger a 5-year deal for at least $30 million per season, which falls in the range of the deals such as Pete Alonso, 5 years, 155, Kyle Schwarber, 5 years, 150. Scott Boras is seeking a deal longer than 5 years. I mean, that's absurd. Last season, Bellinger hit 272 with 29 home runs, with a 334 on-base percentage, 480 slugging percentage. Just look at those bare numbers. Please, someone tell me that those numbers are not worth $30 million AAV. Come on. 270 batting average is okay. He didn't even hit 30 home runs batting after Aaron Judge, right? 334 on base percentage is not crazy good. It's kind of average, but above average. He didn't even manage to hit 100 RBIs. So let's just stop this, shall we, please? Of course, Aaron Boone raved about Bellinger's defense, athleticism, versatility. Lovely. But it didn't win us a World Series, did it? Not even close. He played 85 games in left field, 41 in center, 52 in right. Plays high-end defense at first if called upon. Well, he didn't play first base that often, so kind of irrelevant. The left-handed hitting Bellinger, well-suited for Yankee Stadium, where you hit 18 of his 29 home runs. I mean, that's also a blessing and a curse. If 18 of his 29 home runs were at home, he basically did zip on the road. He's in terms of power anyway. He seemed very easy in the New York market, where his father Clay once played. But barring a shift in the negotiations, it appears his time with the Yankees is over, and they'll look at other possibilities to augment their roster. The Yankees have remained in conversations for outfielder Kyle Tucker, thank you, and infielder Bo Bichette, thank you. And as they have haggled in the Bellinger negotiations, have engaged other teams about trade possibilities. This is all beautiful news. Great news for me. How does the rest of the chat feel about this? I completely agree with Duran. Belly is solid. Exactly. Not a superstar. Not by any stretch of the imagination is a superstar. Got Jason in the chat. What's going on, Jace? Belly asking a lot of money and years for a player whose best year was back in 2019. Yep. Second best year was hitting after Judge. Exactly. And he still didn't even hit 30 home runs hitting after Judge or drive in 100 RBI. So, I mean, I'm not saying he had a bad year, but not to the point where you fall over yourself and overbid. The Yankees were bidding against themselves, I'm pretty sure. And that's why I believe it was disingenuous negotiations. Cody Bellinger, come on, man. I know you have every right to ask for as much money as you want and deserve in free agency, but if the Yankees who you're with and your dad played for is offering you 5 years, which is a pretty hefty contract of over $30 million per year, that's over $150 million, which is in line with Pete Alonso, who you're not as good a hitter as. In line is Kyle Schwarber, which you're not as good a hitter as. Right in line with that, if not more than that, and you're still not happy, come on. Go take a walk, figure yourself out, and come back when you're honest, okay? So I'm glad that the Yankees finally got a hold of themselves, because that is just completely disingenuous. A lot of this is Scott Boras. I understand that, but if Cody Bellinger really wanted to come back to the Yankees, he could have just said, I want you to negotiate with the Yanks if they come close to what I'm looking for. Well, they came close to what you were looking for. So clearly, it's not really about the Yankees. It's clearly about the most dollars. And God bless him. I'm not really criticizing Cody Bellinger. He has every right to ask for as much money as he wants. That's what free agency is all about, especially in a non-salary cap era. He has every right to ask for that, but it's not really. You're not really being fair to the Yanks. Let's be honest. So I'm glad that the Yanks finally took a step back and right, let's stop this. This is absurd. So if you want to go to Queens, God bless you, right? God bless you. At least the Yankees have finally got a hold of themselves and remembered who they are, right? This is not normally how the Yankees behave, just falling over themselves, begging an average player to accept a crazy amount of money in line with Aaron Judge's contract. What? Dude's getting paid more than Bryce Harper. Dude was going to get paid more than Fernando Tatis, and now you're talking about just being slightly under Aaron Judge's numbers. What are we doing? Got Uncle T in the chat. I can't be mad at the Yankees for drawing a line in the sand. As much as I wanted him to be back, it was clear he didn't want to be back. Exactly. That's the word. That's the key word. Drawing a line in the sand. That's what they've done. They've drawn a line in the sand. I'm glad that the Yanks, as desperate as they are for Cody Bellinger, I'm glad that they refused to go to 7 years, because that's just absurd. Ohtani, and so, I mean, yeah, in many ways that's true, but Soto's contract blew up because Cohen blew it up. Cohen obviously refused to lose the negotiations with the Yanks, and then just it became crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier what he was offering. So Ohtani, I mean, a lot of that money is deferred. So credit to Ohtani and credit to the Dodgers for that negotiation. This is great negotiation. So that I wouldn't say is nuts. The Soto contract is definitely nuts, and it has kind of blown things up. Having said that, I think the Pete Alonso contract is very reasonable. I think the Kyle Schwarber contract is very reasonable for what they are. And I have to say, I think the Alex Bregman contract is very reasonable. Shout out to the Chicago Cubs. It's a good deal. Good deal for a good player. So we've also got an update on the Alex Bregman signing of the Chicago Cubs, and that will have something to do with, that will have a lot to do with the future of the Cody Bellinger negotiations, I believe, because it's very, very interesting. We're looking at Bregman deal includes deferrals. Full details not yet known, but present day value will be less than $175 million. An annual luxury tax charge will be less than $35 million. That's really good work. Really good work. So I like that contract for the Chicago Cubs. Shout out to them. Got a heck of a player there in Alex Bregman. I know a friend of our channel, Chris Northrup, will be very, very happy with that signing for the Chicago Cubs, as she's a Cubby. Duran Stover, $70 million deferred, I think, on Bregman. Yep, Bregman got $70 million of the $170 million deferred. The Yankees don't do deferrals. I think the Yankees should start doing deferrals. I don't understand why they don't. But it is expected to be in the $30 to $31 million per season range, which is exactly in line with Pete Alonso, Schwarber. I think they're the ones that are currently setting the realistic market. We don't know what the Kyle Tucker market is. I'm hoping that the Yankees have entered into it. But at least for that range of player, it all looks like they're all kind of signing in that range, around about $30 million, 31, 5 years. That's kind of the range for a good player. For me, this is just my opinion, but as we entered into free agency this year, the top 5 position player free agents, number 1, Kyle Tucker. I would have had number 2, Pete Alonso, 3, Schwarber, 4, Bo Bichette, 5, Cody Bellinger. I have Cody Bellinger as 5th in the free agent rankings in terms of position players. So for the 5th best position player free agent to be asking for more than 2, 3, and 4 have signed for, it's just stupid, in my opinion. So I'm really hoping that the Yankees have moved on for Cody Bellinger. I'm actually okay. I'm okay with Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones as opposed to giving Cody Bellinger that contract. I am. I'd much rather see what we have in Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez than giving Cody Bellinger a contract that will absolutely age like milk. That contract will age so bad. But I'm so glad that the Yankees are going to have it. Someone else could take that contract. I ain't a fan. I ain't a fan. So let's see what else we've got. People in the chat. Heck yeah, Jason and Jones. And Duran agrees. No deferrals by Yankees because Hal's a fucking trust fund baby, and he can't make money besides with the Yankees. That's true. Jonathan says they don't want the debt. You are right. Yeah, the Yankees should consider it, but yeah, they have other ulterior motives. Right, Jason here. Let's see what Jason's got to say. He usually has some smart takes. If we had a complete team and one outfielder was a missing piece, his asking price wouldn't be so bad. But we have other holes to fill and almost at the end of Hal's budget. Yep, I do agree. Healing Man's Heart says these contracts are nuts. Now, there will be a lockout. I do think there will be a lockout. But I don't think any of the contracts signed so far this year have been that nuts. Friday, they just can't start Spencer Jones. I really like Spencer Jones. I think he's a good prospect. I know he's a kind of a prospect which is quite a polarizing prospect. Some are higher on him than others. Some are like, I don't think he's going to translate too well. Others think he will. I'm in the camp that he will. I like his swing. The only thing that concerns me is really just his batting stance. He needs a consistent batting stance. He hasn't quite had that. His stance seems to change numerous times through the year, and that's something that he really needs just to get focused on, get a nice solid stance, and I think he's going to go to I think he'll be off to the races because he's athletic. He plays a really good center field. He's got a nice arm. He's rangy out there in the outfield, which is all better than Jason Dominguez, and he's got better power than Dominguez. He's got elite power. I love him as a prospect. I'm excited by him, and I hope that the Yankees give him every opportunity to shine. So I'm in the pro Spencer Jones camp. I really am, and so I'd like to see him get an opportunity. And I wouldn't hate the idea of a platoon between Dominguez and Spencer Jones. Best man wins. You know, I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate it. I'd prefer Kyle Tucker. Don't get me wrong, but I prefer that as an option to paying Cody Bellinger 5, 6, 7 years. I don't want that. I don't want this outfield to be lumbered by that. But Friday really doesn't want Spencer Jones to start. Well, I mean, I'd like to see how he does in spring. He also says that we're doomed. I mean, I think we're less doomed if we have backed away from Cody Bellinger. I actually feel a hell of a lot more positive about it. If we do sign Cody Bellinger and that's us, then I do think we're pretty doomed this year. there's so many comments. I have to say thank you so much to everyone that has commented. We've got Jonathan in the chat. He gets the early bird. Salute to you, Jonathan. Healing Man's Hearts is done with Cody Bellinger. I am so done with Cody Bellinger. Get your stanky ass to Queens. Don't let your door hit the U on the way out. Salute to you, Healing Man's. While I probably wouldn't use that word choice, I'm totally done on Cody Bellinger. I'm totally done on him. Bregman signing with the Cubs was a huge surprise. Wonder if the Red Sox will go all in for Eugenio Suarez. That's a good call. And it's going to be a question for the Red Sox because they'll probably be regretting giving Bregman that opt-out in his contract because, damn, that's going to be a loss for them unless they attack the Suarez market. Yes, we all hope that this log jam has been opened up. And Duran's commenting about the Chicago Cubs signing Bregman. That is a good deal for them. Absolutely. Yes, 01 in the chat. Salute to you, 01. FJ says, salute to you, FJ. Left field may be a platoon of Dominguez and Cabrera. And Cabrera? Hopefully Dominguez and Spencer Jones, my friend. Duran says, I wonder what Florida demanded from the Yankees for Cabrera. Well, considering Florida got the Cubs' top prospect, I would say it probably would have been the Yankees' top prospect, which would have been probably Lombard and maybe Legrange, maybe Spencer Jones, maybe one of those three, if not two of those three. So, just looking at comparing the two, so maybe it's for the best. Well, it's for the best. I wouldn't have wanted to give up our top prospect for Cabrera, as much as I really like Cabrera. I do agree, FJ. It is a shame that Dominguez nor Cabrera can hit right-handed. I think teams are constantly sick of Cashman trying to fleece them. I agree. I do agree with that. That's a good point. So we've got well over 80 people in the chat. So if y'all could do the good stuff, right? Hit that like button. Hit that sub button. And say hello to him. Say hello to me in the chat. I'll give you a shout out. This is going to be a very interactive show. Let's talk about how the Yankees pivot from Cody Bellinger. I hope the Yankees have pivoted from Cody Bellinger. Let's look at ways in which we can pivot. What is the best way we can pivot? My opinion, Kyle Tucker. That's what I want. If we could get a high AAV short-term deal for Kyle Tucker, I'd do that 100 times out of 100. In line with Aaron Judge's window. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That makes all the sense in the world. In line with Aaron Judge's window. Aaron Judge is what, 35? So he's got a window of 3-4 years, okay? Let's offer Kyle Tucker 4 years, $40 million. How about that? Short-term, high AAV. Let's see what else we got in the chat. We got Horses Unite in the chat. Salute to you. Got Mark Gates in the chat. What's going on? I hope Belly walks and Stanton retires to see Jones play left and Dominguez DH and play left on Judge rest days with Jones at right. It's an interesting. Jason says, how about Tucker? Dude, you're speaking my language, my friend. You are speaking my language. I want Kyle Tucker to be a New York Yankee. Dude, here's the thing. If the Yankees signed Kyle Tucker, I would probably cry happy tears. Literally. I'd be on air and I'll do a celebratory stream, right? Okay, let's make a deal, okay? Let's make a bet. if the Yankees sign Kyle Tucker, I will do a 4-hour celebratory stream. Okay? And I hope you'll join me. A 4-hour celebratory stream. And there will be a whole host of emotions. And a lot of it happy. Because I do get criticized for being negative. I'm being negative. I'm not being negative. I'm being honest. This Yankee team ain't it. So if they signed a legit star, I'd be so freaking happy. Because I can't remember the last time the Yankees have signed an actual star. Signed in free agency. Position player signed in free agency. When was the last star the Yankees have signed in free agency? Only 4 hours. What about 24 hours? Dude, come on. I do have a life. 4 is pretty. I think 4 is more than enough for my crusty old ass. I think 24 is really pushing it. Jonathan's right. Mark Teixeira. When was the last star position player the Yankees have signed in free agency that wasn't already a Yankee? I'm telling you, it was Mark Teixeira. I mean, does Jacoby Ellsbury count? No. I mean, I think that's it. I think it's Mark Teixeira. That was it. Donald rocking that cool Yankee hat. I do love this hat. This is a cool hat. I'm not going to lie. Josh Donaldson. Well, that was a trade, and he was ass. Ellsbury was a star, Donald, if you say so. I mean, he was good for the first year, but no, I wouldn't say he was. A star. I think Mark Teixeira was literally the star, and it's crazy to me that the Yankees have not. That was a long time ago, Mark Teixeira. A long freaking time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. I think I was still at. Well, I think I was still at university. I was still at university when the Yankees signed Cody Bellinger. I can't even remember when I was at university, but that was a long freaking time ago. That was when we signed Mark Teixeira. My buddy, I remember because it was my birthday. My buddy was looking at his phone. He's like, "Oh my god, I hate the Yankees." I was like, "Why?" Because he's a Braves fan. He's like, "Look, you just got Mark Teixeira." I'm like, "Yeah!" Right? That was it. December 2000. That was back when the Yankees were a serious organization. God damn, that was a long freaking time ago. So that was it. That was the last time the Yankees were signed a star. December 2008. Give me a freaking break, guys. Come on. This is the Yankees. We deserve Kyle Tucker. I'm not saying we're gonna get Kyle Tucker, but I'm wishing it into existence. Let's all wish it into existence because we deserve a good player. I want to be excited. If we get Kyle Tucker, I'm gonna get his jersey and I'm gonna go to that fucking ballpark in the summer for a long time. I need something to make me excited. Cody Bellinger, that ain't moving me. Kyle Tucker, that's moving me. Now you have my interest. John Doe in the chat. I'm loving all these new names, by the way, so keep it coming. Loving it. Tired of players who only care about money and not the legacy of the Yankees. I agree. And that's, I mean, the way I would have, I mean, and this is where I do agree with Brian Cashman. As soon as Scott Boras / Bellinger rejected that 5-year offer worth 150 mil, probably plus. As soon as they rejected that, then I actually would have rescinded that contract offer. I would have, because they're not being serious, and absolutely absurd. So I'm glad that the Yankees have drawn a line in the sand, because I would have just rescinded that contract and I'd be like, "You guys are not serious. Go, don't bother coming back." So, because I didn't really want Bellinger anyway, I've always hated that contract. I think it's going to age like milk. 4 out of his last 6 years, he's been an average to below average ball player. That contract is going to age so badly, it's not even true. So I want someone else to have that contract. He's doing all this because he hit 29 home runs at Yankee Stadium. Or actually 18 of his 29 at Yankee Stadium. That's not a lot. That's nothing that we should all just be like falling all over. He's not like Juan Soto. Juan Soto carried us to a World Series. What did Cody Bellinger do? He was a solid complement to Aaron Judge through to the postseason, and then he crapped out in the postseason. Come on. Seriously. Rocky Rivera in the chat. What's Rocky Rivera got to say? Imagine you're talking to Tucker. Give the elevator pitch to come to the Bronx compared to the other cities. Ooh. So Rocky Rivera is putting it in my hands. All right. Here's the pitch. If I'm Brian Cashman, I would be ashamed of myself if I was Brian Cashman. So what I would do if I'm the GM, right? I'm bringing Derek Jeter with me, right? I'm bringing Jeet with me. And Jeet does what Pat Riley did with the Miami Heat to get LeBron James. Now, I'm not comparing LeBron James to freaking Kyle Tucker, but I'm saying I'm going to do a similar strategy, right? Derek Jeter. And what he does, he drops his 5 rings on the table. That's what I'm doing. And he goes, would you like one of these? Or another one of these? I should say another one of these. Would you like another one of these? Well, join up with Aaron Judge and let's get this thing done. That's what I would do. Right? And then I would show a video of all the Yankee fans chanting Juan Soto's name and falling all over themselves for Juan Soto. And for that 1 year and saying, you could be that. You could be that. You do what Juan Soto did, and you will be beloved just like him. I think that's a pretty good pitch. But Soto was gone. I know, but I'm saying, I'm using the word choice. You be what he did. You get that love, and you actually show the commitment that you actually want to stay. You're going to be loved even more. You're going to be loved even more because you show the commitment that you actually want to be here as opposed to run off the cleans. Right? Just got goosebumps, Don. Thanks, man. I have that effect on people. But that's my pitch. That's my pitch. You just empty those rings on the table. You go, one of these? Let's go. Let's get to work. I think it could work. I think that's how I would pitch things. I don't think the Yankees are acting like the Yankees anymore, and that's why I think that a lot of players are less interested in the Yankees. They are operating cheap and they're operating poor, and they are acting like a mid-tier organization, which they are not. I'm just trying to remind them that they're excellent. Those rings were the 20th century, Donald. Don't remind me, my friend. Don't remind me. But I'm being asked what my pitch would be, and that's my pitch. Because who else has 27 rings? No one else has 27 rings, right? So what do the Yankees have that no one else has? We have the championships. We have the history. We have Babe Ruth. We have Derek Jeter. We have all those things, right? No one else has that. That's what we have. You're asking what my pitch is. I'm showing what the Yankees have that no one else has. We have the devoted fan base. We have the passionate fan base, the knowledgeable fan base, a fan base that is desperate to fall in love with its talent, right? That's what we have that no one else has. I'm just trying to emphasize that. It would be a pretty shitty pitch if I was to say, yeah, we've not won since 2009, and the Dodgers are now a dynasty, and we kind of we're a bit poor now, and we lost Juan Soto, and we can't seem to get Cody Bellinger to be interested in us, and he's not even that good. What do you want my pitch to be? You know what I'm saying? You're asking my pitch. That's what kind of shitty pitch would that be? Hal Steinbrenner is really wanting to lower payroll, and he's cheap now, and Brian Cashman hasn't won, and he just keeps bloviating about the past and how great he is. And Aaron Boone is a complete freaking moron, and we can't get rid of him. Like, what kind of pitch do you want? So I'm trying to emphasize what we've got. We've got 27 rings. No one else has that. So I don't think Jeter has the best. Yeah, that's because Derek Jeter knows how to win. Jeter is a winner, and he's a true Yankee, unlike Cashman and Boone. That's why when I said if I was Brian Cashman, I would be ashamed of myself. So if I was to be the GM, I would bring Jeter on board because people would actually be interested. Derek Jeter is someone who's an icon, who the players of this generation looked up to and modeled themselves on in order to be pro baseball players in this modern age. Jeter is that guy. Aaron Boone ain't that guy. Aaron Boone ain't that guy. And Brian Cashman has an incredible ability to piss off everybody that he comes in contact with. So I don't think it's him either. Davey, Dodgers are now like the Yankees, what they were in the early 2000s. Soon they're going to hit this wall when they will find out that you can't fuel the dynasty with money. That's interesting, Davey, but you are right. The Dodgers are like the Yankees. But that deferral of Ohtani's contract is a smart one. They are taking advantage of Ohtani's window. So what good is it to say, yeah, but wait 10 years, they're going to suck. Every dynasty ends up declining afterwards. Every single one. Just look at the Golden State Warriors now. Now they're just an empty shell themselves, right? Relying on Steph Curry to carry their asses. The Golden State Warriors are no longer a dynasty anymore. They're in a decline, right? And that they'll never be a championship contender. Probably, again, for a long, long time. So it just happens. And that'll happen with the Dodgers. And it's happened with the Yankees. It just happens. That's just what. But what they have is they're taking advantage of the window of their superstar. That's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of that window. So while Ohtani is going to be a star, they're taking advantage of that window. What have the Yankees done to take advantage of Aaron Judge's window? Absolutely nothing. Trump should buy the Yankees. I would love that. I would love that. Bring some accountability. That would be hilarious. The first thing that Trump would do would be like, "You're fired," to Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman, and I would pay that. You'd probably have it on reality TV as well. I'd watch that with popcorn. I've been waiting a long time for those words. But yes, Duran, the Dodgers have the ability to defer money due to their owner being able to invest said deferred money and make money on said deferred money. Exactly. So I don't think the Dodgers are going anywhere for a long time. They've got Yamamoto and they've got Ohtani. Best pitcher, best hitter in the National League. They're going to be fine. Freddie Freeman, the whole lot. Love that Dodgers team. It's great. The Yankees just don't have that. Yeah, but we can defer too. Again, hey, speak to Hal Steinbrenner, Rocky. Try and convince Hal to do that shit. He ain't doing that shit. Defer option is well, that's true. It is a player option. That is a good point. Davey, the reason the Yanks can hit with Judge is because they don't have anyone who came up with him to build a core. Volpe stinks. Volpe's freaking awful. Jays don't need. Well, that's true. Jays don't need Tucker to win the East. The Yankees do, by the way. We got J23. Fourth place New York Yankees start spreading the news. Salute to you. Thank you so much for the comment. And I don't entirely disagree. What else we've got in the chat, guys? People need to be patient with Volpe, man. I went to his high school. That's cute. He sucks. Best pitcher in the National League is Skeens. I'm telling you what, Yamamoto was catching up, man. What he did in that World Series was absolutely outrageous. But yes, you're probably right, Skeens, but Yamamoto was right there too. I mean, to Rocky, what I will say is the Yankees damaged Volpe more than Volpe did that to himself. The Yankees have wrecked his swing. They've turned him into strictly a pool hitter, trying to aim for the short porch and the stands, and it's wrecked his swing. As A-Rod said, he's not a power hitter. They should have utilized his speed, should have utilized his contact ability. He was able to hit pretty consistently with contact, and the Yankees have wrecked that swing. So I think they've done that to themselves, because I remember when Volpe just first got called up, man, he was hitting like for a high average. He was getting on base, and he was looking like a very useful guy that could potentially be a solid bottom end of the lineup guy, or even a top of the lineup guy. But they had to make him into a pool hitter, and it's wrecked him. Absolutely wrecked him. So that's him on the offensive end. And also, Aaron Boone is so chilled about the details. Like, he doesn't really pay much attention to detail. So every base running mistake, every fielding error, every lackadaisical play, Boone's like, it's fine, don't worry about it. That doesn't help develop a kid. It really doesn't. So now Volpe is just declining, because due to a lack of teaching, a lack of attention to detail, too much pressure, because the Yankees had turned down several great shortstops like Seager and all that stuff to make Volpe their guy. He just wasn't ready. Volpe was kind of forced into the league without really having enough time to develop. So the Yankees have done this to themselves. Now, Volpe hasn't helped with some of his comments, like when he makes some stupid plays or he throws the wrong base or he gets himself thrown out in the base paths and he keeps saying stuff like, I'd do it again. That doesn't help. But no, I blame most of Volpe being ass on the organization. They're just not very good at them. They just don't have that many teachers anymore. It's an issue. Brian Cashman of late has fired a lot of scouts, has fired a lot of people that are involved in like developing big league players. And now you're seeing a lot of these guys are struggling. They really are. They're struggling at the top end because our coaching staff kind of sucks. Who on that Yankee coaching staff do you really want having developing kids? Do you want Aaron Boone to do that? No. Anybody else? No. Bullpen coach's fault. Exactly. No, it's a first baseman coach. That was the problem. First base coach. Exactly. We need to improve our player development. That's what Dodgers do. Exactly. See, that was what I was really worried about. When the Yankees fired Joe Girardi and then his assistants, Rob Thompson and Pena, Thompson and Pena were really good development guys. They were guys that loved to teach. They taught the Yankee way. They taught the standards. Rob Thompson would do spring training, and he would drill them hard, and it worked. Players developed. Players played well. Pena was a really good coach. Brian Cashman fired them all. Rob Thompson is now a good manager, and I'm sorry, I miss Joe Girardi, bro, because Aaron Boone, he doesn't coach. He's just an ESPN guy that's paid just to blow smoke up our asses. That's his job. He does it well, but it doesn't mean he's a good manager. And now, as you can see, our players are not developing because he doesn't hold any standards to anybody. Jazz Chisholm's allowed to yawn at second base during the playoffs, no problem. You know, get himself thrown out of the base paths against the Marlins, throw us out of the game. No problem. That's just what he does. He's just like, oh, that's cool. Do what you guys want. It's fine. It's as I've said, it's like summer camp. And been run summer camp, and it's because right when I wanted Rob Thompson over Boone, but the problem Cashman wanted to have full control. Exactly. Brian Cashman's done this to himself. Davey, salute to you. And Chaz is too busy playing PlayStation. Spot on. Boone holds no players accountable. Exactly. See, they're all three of them are accountable for this disaster that the Yankees are at the moment. Brian Cashman, because his ego is enormous. You guys see what Clint Frazier said about Brian Cashman? He says he piss on your head and tell you it's raining. And he just uses the media just to manipulate people. Yeah, it's Brian Cashman. And his ego is enormous and too big at the moment, and it needs brought down a level. Hal Steinbrenner is very much culpable for this because he holds nobody accountable for anything. He holds zero standards and is completely disinterested. And then you got Aaron Boone, who's just runs a summer camp. He runs the Happy Campers summer camp. Sings songs, hands out ice cream, and tells everyone that they are elite. And so there's no standards. He says Anthony Volpe's elite. Well, Aaron Judge is elite. So what does that make Anthony Volpe? You know what I'm saying? Everyone's elite. Everyone's great. Blow smoke up everyone's ass. Nobody develops. Yay. The Happy Campers. Summer camp. That's what the Yankees are under Aaron Boone. So that's why we're at the Three Stooges, guys. That's what they are. They're the Three Stooges. I think they're all culpable in their own way. They're all culpable in their own way. There they are. So, like, I ain't going to argue if one person says Hal's the biggest problem, or if another person says Boone's the biggest problem, or if another person says Brian Cashman's the biggest problem. I ain't going to argue with any of that. It could be any of the three. It could be any of the three. I ain't going to argue that. Donald, which coaches would you bring to the Yankees to start rebuilding our player development? Well, I would go old school because I am old school. So I would bring in the old school coaches. That's what I would do. Now, I think Don Mattingly's just taken a new job. I would have looked to get Don Mattingly involved. If not, but Buck Showalter. Get him involved. Get Buck Showalter involved in the organization. Do you know what I would do? I would bring some ex-Yankees involved. I would get some ex-Yankees involved in here. I think Jorge Posada would bring some fire to that dugout. Make him a bench coach. I think he'd bring some fire that this team needs because everyone's just so nice. It's just so freaking nice. Everyone's just so freaking nice. Jesus Christ. Let's get some fire. What about analytics? Are we big on this? Yeah. I'm just saying I think we've overgone. I think we've gone too much in that analytics department. I think we can have a bit of both. I think you can have a little bit of both. You know what? for instance, David Cohn. He's the perfect guy, right? Because David Cohn is someone who's very focused on analytics, but also is good at interacting one-to-one. And he knows how to handle big moments. And that's something that can be translated to people. So I think David Cohn would be ideal to get involved in the organization. So that's some of the ideas there. I would like to go old school, though. We get some old school guys that know how to coach the basics, because Aaron Boone doesn't know how to coach shit. Let's be honest. But then you're not going to have a Buck Showalter sit beneath Aaron Boone. I mean, that's kind of stupid. You know what I'm saying? Why would you have a better manager as the bench coach to your manager? You know, so I'm not quite sure if you could sell him on that, but in general, I would look to go old school. What about Willie Randolph? Bring Randolph in there. He's someone that wouldn't look to be a manager, but could get him involved in the coaching staff if he still has the energy for that. I wouldn't hate that. I think you just need to bring some fundamentals back, because our fundamentals suck. Our fundamentals suck so bad. Anyway, we're going off course. That's some of the stuff that I would do. But the first thing I would probably do is fire Aaron Boone. Got to bring in George Costanza. No, that's my guy. George is getting upset. George is getting upset. Let's talk more about how we pivot. How we pivot. How do we pivot? How do we pivot from Cody Bellinger, guys? So give me your suggestions in the chat. Who would you trade for? Or who would you sign? Do you want Kyle Tucker? I want Kyle Tucker. Do you want Bo Bichette? I would not hate Bo Bichette by any stretch of the imagination. Is there a trade that you like? What would you do? Is Brendan Donovan available? Yes, he is. But he's a lefty bat. Harrison Bader. Not a bad shout. Quite like that, actually. But he plays center field. What are you going to do with Trent Grisham? With Bregman in the fold, could Nico Horner? I would love a Nico Horner trade. Friday, Corey Seager, but I love Corey Seager too. I think we need a bat. I mean, my opinion is the Yankees need a bat more than they do defense. Because let's look at Juan Soto, right? He didn't have the glove, but he gave you 40 home runs and almost a 400 on base percentage. And it carried us to a World Series. We didn't need his glove. Cody Bellinger gave you a phenomenal Gold Glove caliber defense. But we weren't better because we need offense. We need some power. We need some power in order to help Aaron Judge. To help Judge in that window. That's what we need. Can we trade for Tatis? Yeah, but how many prospects do you want to give up? It would probably take a lot, and I would totally do that. Yassine, I like this suggestion. Sign Tucker and trade for Freddie Peralta from the Brewers. I would definitely make that. I'm giving you a star for that. Yassine, that's exactly probably what I would do. Zeppelin, Tucker is that guy. Yes, Zepp. I completely agree. Tucker is that guy. What kind of a pivot would that be? Imagine pivoting to the better player. That's unheard of for the Yankees. Fridays, if they get Tucker, I'll shut my mouth. Me too. If they get Tucker, I will say, Brian Cashman, thank you so much. I've been ripping him for months. In fact, in a good solid year now. But if they and how? But if they get Kyle Tucker, I will not criticize Cashman or Hal for a while anyway. I'll make that promise. Tuck wants 8 to 10 years at 40. Dude, no one's going to give him 8 to 10 years at 40 mil. I'd be shocked. I think that he could be available for a short-term deal with high AAV. There's nothing that would stop the Yankees from doing that. But that's I completely agree with you guys. I think that's a good suggestion. What about this suggestion? Bo Bichette. You sign Bo Bichette and then you either move McMahon or you move Jazz. How about that? How about you do something crazy like you sign Bo Bichette, you stick him at second, and then you use Jazz as a trade piece to get a starting pitcher like Peralta. What about that? How would you guys feel about that? Can McMahon or Jazz play outfield? Jazz can play outfield. Jazz can play center field. Nobody wants Jazz. I don't know. What about Mackenzie Gore? I mean, I think that's more likely. If I was to guess, if I was to take a guess which starter the Yankees will unveil, I think it'll be Mackenzie Gore. I would take Bo in a heartbeat. He's meeting with the Phillies this week. Yeah, I'm worried about that. I think he will go to the Phillies. I agree with FJ here. I'm perfectly fine with replacing Jazz with Bichette. I'm not as enamored with Jazz as other Yankee fans. I'm not enamored by him either. I love his skill set. I was really happy when we acquired him because I knew that he was going to be a very good player. What I didn't know was he was going to be this level of Space Cadet. I didn't envisage him being this level of Space Cadet. He is on another level of Space Cadet, like yawning in the playoffs and getting himself thrown out of games and getting himself thrown out in the base paths. He just seems like a total Space Cadet, and I'm not sure how locked in on winning he is. But what he will give you is a guaranteed 30-30 year, 30 homers, 30 stolen bases. And very good glove at second base. So he's got a really good skill set that I'm not going to get rid of for nothing. Like, that skill set is really good. I think that with a tougher manager than Aaron Boone, I think Jazz would be a great player for the Yankees. I think because Aaron Boone runs such a holiday camp that I think Jazz is allowed to get away with messing around, and I think he'll be fine. With a more accountable, tougher, harder clubhouse, I think you'd get a better Jazz, more focused Jazz, but that doesn't really exist with the current Yanks. So I'd be okay with moving Jazz, no problem with that. I'm not quite sure which team would look for him, but I don't want to get rid of that skill set for nothing. Belly can go to the Mets. I agree. I hope he does go to the Mets. Frankly, I hope he does. I don't want the Yankees to sign Bellinger anymore. The reason is it's not just because I think that contract's going to age like milk. I just think that he's handled these negotiations disingenuously. People miss all great teams are outstanding down the middle. Catcher, second base, short, center field. Give yourself a fucking round of applause, my friend. Let's look at Let's look at the great Yankee teams. Jorge Posada / Joe Girardi. Shortstop, Derek Jeter. Center fielder, Bernie Williams. You know what I'm saying? That's to your point. Absolutely. Now the Yankees are below average down the middle. You know, they've got a below average shortstop, below average catcher, below average center field. Yeah, that's a big issue. What about hitting up the Astros for Myers? I don't think the Astros will ever negotiate with the Yankees. The Astros and the Yankees hate each other. Who's putting Bernie Williams over Mantle or DiMaggio? Who's doing that? I just mentioned the dynasty, the most recent dynasty. That's what I mentioned. I didn't say that Bernie Williams is better than Mickey Mantle or DiMaggio. Give me a break. Come on. So anyway, let's get back to before. I don't know. Dave Russ may be smoking something. If you think that I've got Mickey Mantle below Bernie Williams, come on. Let's get back to where we're talking about here. I don't think the Astros would negotiate with the Yankees, so we can forget about that. At this point, move on from Belly and let Dominguez play every day. I believe you'll be surprised. I agree. I'm okay with it. Barney would be our second. Are you kidding? Absolutely. No doubt about it. So I agree with you there, Big Pop. I am actually wanting to move on from Bellinger, and I hope that this is not just a negotiating ploy. Because I just think that Bellinger's handled this with just completely disingenuously. He should be very happy to get 5 years, 150 mil. That's a very good offer. It's above what he's worth. You take that, thank your God, and then you get on with it. You know. But it just says to me that he's not that keen on being a Yankee, and that's fine. Move on. We'll get someone better. Michael, Jazz is a 30-30 guy, not some bum. Yeah, no one's saying he's a bum, man. That 30-30 is key. It's very good. I'm just saying that I'm not sure if he's got the mentality to be a championship winner, but I just don't want to get rid of him for nothing. Absolutely not. All right, got a Dodger fan in the chat. First of all, congratulations, because you root for a team that is willing to do whatever it takes to win. You got a GM that's really smart and forward-thinking, and you got an incredible roster. So congratulations, and congratulations on your current dynasty. What good farm pieces do you guys even have to trade? We Dodgers fans can send you Bobby Miller. Well, I actually really do quite like our minor league system. It starts with George Lombard. George Lombard is our one untouchable. I think he's going to be our future shortstop. That guy is fantastic. LeGrand is really good. ERC, Rodriguez Cruz, although I think he just calls himself Cruz now. He's a monster. He's really good. Ben Hess is highly rated in the organization. Chase Hampton is highly rated in the organization, but he has some serious injury issues, but he's still good. Spencer Jones, I love Spencer Jones. That dude has all the potential to be a 40, 45 home run guy in the majors with just a little bit of fine-tuning. And does Jason Dominguez count? Because I think Jason Dominguez does have high upside. I think the Yankees have done him a disservice. They haven't given him the opportunities that he deserves, and they chucked him over in left field where he wasn't prepared to play left field, and it's made him look worse than he is. So I'm not going to blame a lot of the players on the poor development. A lot of this is on Brian Cashman, who takes no responsibility for anything. So that's that's it. But no, we do have a good farm system. So yeah, Lombard, LeGrand, Spencer Jones, Hess, ERC. Those are guys just at the top of my head that are very good, that have a future with us. Jones is a strikeout machine. Dude. So was Aaron Judge when he came up. Aaron Judge was an absolute strikeout monster. But with a fine-tuning and with a good hitting coach, you got it fixed. So I think there is some talent there. We've also got rid of a lot of talent because we've had to make a lot of deals. I think we gave up like 14 to 16 pieces at that last deadline in order to make enough moves just to make us a playoff team last year. So our farm system has definitely taken a hit. Another aspect is Brian Cashman has fired our entire international scouting department. Entire. And I think that's going to set us back for 3 to 4 years. So that's an issue. That's going to be a big issue moving forward. That's going to be a big issue moving forward, and it'll be. I think that's something that a new GM would need to fix. Would you be willing to trade ERC and LeGrand for Peralta? I believe Peralta's in the last year of his contract. I don't want to risk that for a rental. You talk about past Yankee rosters difference. They won because they didn't fold under pressure. Right. I agree with that. There's a mentality issue that needs to be fixed, not just talent. Andy Carnival. Great to see all these fans of other teams in the chat. We've had Cubby fans, we've had Dodger fans, we've had Jays fans. Salute to this Jays fan. Again, congratulations on the year that you had last year and absolutely obliterating the Yankees in the postseason. Well deserved. I would love to see the Yankees and Jays rival get better, but with realignment coming up, Jays won't even be in the same division as the Yankees with the Red Sox. Yeah, don't get me started on this owner that we have, or commissioner, I should say. Don't get me started on Manfred. Manfred. I don't want realignment. I'm perfectly happy with the division we have as it is. I don't even think there should be as many wildcard teams as there is. Like, I think 2 is more than enough. So no, I don't like Rob Manfred, and I want to keep the Jays, Yanks, and the Red Sox in the same division. If the Yanks can't get out of it, that's on them. Dodgers, we back. All right, we're getting all kinds of fans from other teams in the chat. Welcome. Thank you so much. If you could just do the service and hit the like button for me. But yeah, welcome. Theo Epstein, dude, I hope so. You can't be any worse than Manfred. Davey, Donald, to be honest, the international scouting department, what players can you can credit that they found that have panned out? Dominguez would be one, but you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. The international scouting has not worked out. It hasn't worked out at all. Having said that, the player development we've already mentioned is an issue. So I don't know how much you can absolutely blame on the international scouting department. But it hasn't been good. But my question is, why have they left it to the last minute? Why have they left it to the middle of the signing period for international free agents. Why have they done it right during the negotiations for Wandy season? Why have they made all these changes now? Shouldn't they be ahead of the curve? I'm not saying that they should be happy with their international scouting. Absolutely fire them, but fire them well in advance to this coming market so that you're on top of things. But that's why I'm saying I don't think Brian Cashman is on top of things. I think that he's delusional. I think he's complacent, and I think he's too long in the tooth to be honest with himself, to see the wood from the trees and say, you know what, this isn't working. And he should have been way ahead of the curve there. Because now you fired the main dude, the assistant, the full department. That means that this period's screwed. Maybe next year screwed as well. So I think that's going to come back to bite us in the ass. I think the Wandy decision thing was absolutely egregious from the Yankees' point of view. Andy in the chat, Donald, would consider a hard floor cap to get the low market teams like the Rays, Brewers, and Marlins to spend more money to reduce revenue sharing. Yes. I don't believe in a salary cap, but I do believe in a salary floor. That's absolutely what I do believe in. I think that there should be some ramifications if you don't spend a minimum amount. I think that's absolutely fair. And I also would get rid of penalties for signing free agents, such as the losing draft picks if you sign somebody who turned down a qualifying offer, those kind of things. I don't think those penalties should exist. I think it's kind of absurd, really, because you really should be promoting an open market. You should be promoting a market where everybody has an opportunity to spend. And I think it's egregious that you get penalized for spending and there's no penalty for not spending. You know what I'm saying? That's stupid. And it's stopping teams like the Yankees from getting out of their shells. And I think it would be a lot more fun if the Yankees kind of woke up and were like, right, let's compete with the Dodgers, let's compete with the Blue Jays, let's really get serious here. Now you got teams that are at the high end pleading poverty. Baseball needs to be fixed for sure. And I think a good start would be a salary floor, but I would not have a salary cap. I would not get a salary cap involved. Yes, that's a good suggestion. If they lose your first round pick if you don't reach your salary floor. It's a very good suggestion. Like there should be nothing stopping like a small market team to sign a guy on a 1-year deal, and then at the deadline you move that guy on, and you get assets back in return. You know what I'm saying? I think you would see a much better system. Is the host from Australia or New Zealand? Neither of the two, my friend. Okay. Too inconsistent without a ton of speed. Who are you talking about? Aaron Judge? Chaz Chisholm? Who are you talking about, my friend? Rays don't even spend that much, and they're a good team. They invest a lot in scouting and analytics because they've got a good front office. Very good front office. So, who else do you guys want a pivot? Or do you think this is just a pivot? Do you guys think this is actually just a pivot? Or do you actually think that maybe this is just a ploy in order to get Cody Bellinger to come back to us? Do you think that might be an option? What do you think? Do you think that maybe in the next couple of days, Cody Bellinger comes back cap in hand and go, sorry guys. Sorry guys. Can we re-enter negotiations? Because I believe that's what happened with the Mets last year. Because I think we heard something similar last year with the Mets, like, oh well, Pete Alonso's not coming back. Pete Alonso's going to test the market. We're going to move on, and then in the end, then he comes back and then just comes back cap in hand, going, maybe that's what happens with Cody Bellinger. Healing Man's Hearts here says, I really have no idea, Donald. I can see Cashman capitulating too. This organization has no foundation or plan. Yes, I agree with that. That's why I'd be shocked if Kyle Tucker is really serious. I think it might just be. I wouldn't be surprised if this was just Cashman kind of using the media to his advantage and trying to get Bellinger to come back to life. It's good, come back to reality a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised. Dave actually agrees with that. That's why I think the Yankees are playing themselves. I think they're playing themselves. I think actually in this occasion, I've been incredibly critical of the Yankees offseason. I think it's the way they've handled this offseason has been nothing short of a disgrace. But I will say, I do think that what they've done yesterday was the best thing they've done all offseason. It's the best thing. They've drawn a line in the sand, and they've said to Scott Boras, quit your games. Cody Bellinger, if you want to be realistic, you're welcome to come back, but you're coming back on our terms. I think it should have happened weeks ago. And I think that they've wasted far too much time on Cody Bellinger. And because Hal Steinbrenner doesn't really set any standards, any budget, well, we kind of know he has a budget, but not really. It's kind of up in the air. I think that the front office kind of operates that they have a cap, and that meant that they've gone all in on Cody Bellinger because they don't know how much money they'd have left over after him. So they've gone all in on him, and Cody Bellinger knows it, and he's just playing the game. And the Yankees have been chasing after him like a little cock schoolboy, kind of chasing after the Sammy Hot Girl, the 7 out of 10. That's what the Yankees are doing. Please date me, please date me, please. It's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing. That's what the Yankees have been doing. It's embarrassing. So I'm kind of glad that they've taken a what? Oh, wait, excuse me here. Christopher. Yankees signed Max Kepler to minor league deal, per my inside sources. Do we believe that? Andy Carnival says it's 7-3 Jags. Wow, that's a surprise. I'd be surprised there. I still think the Bills are going to win that game. But Max Kepler, is that real? Does anybody else heard that? I don't know. I don't know yet. I need to find out. I don't believe you. So like it's kind of in line with what Brian Cashman does. Wait a minute. It says a day ago Max Kepler faced an 80-game suspension after positive PED test. Oh, you're just having us, man. You're just having us. You just had us. He's suspended for using steroids. You know what? You suck. You suck, Chris. You suck. You know what? You're going in. You're going in timeout for that. You suck. Right? Are you surprised the Bears won? No, the Packers suck. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at that. The Packers kind of suck. Um, I think that they've been incredibly fortunate to make the playoffs this year. So I think that the Bears were going to win that game. I'm surprised that the Panthers gave the Rams such a game. I'm very surprised about that. But I'm kind of relieved that the Rams won because I think it would really suck if the Panthers made it through. We want more talent in there. The NFL is weird this year with so many big time teams out of it. I thought that the Bucks were really good this year, and then they just fell apart. The Chiefs sucked. So a lot of talent is already gone. The Ravens. So there's a lot of good teams that just aren't really in the playoffs this year. So it's going to be a really weird Super Bowl, I think. No cap, no competition whatsoever. Easy World Series. Dodger. All right. Probably. Anyway, let's ask everybody in the chat. Where does Cody Bellinger go to? Does he come back to the Yankees? Or who's he signing for? Everybody give me your opinion. I'm 50-50. I think it's either the Yankees or the Mets. I still think that there's a good chance that he comes back to the Yanks. Right, John the Beagle Dad. Good to see you in the chat. Mets. Dave Rice says Dodgers. Stuff and Things says Blue Jays. Rocky says Bellinger goes to either the Yanks or the Cubs. Don't you think that the Cubs are kind of out of on that now? We've got Okamoto in there to play the corners. They've got kind of a good team now. Do they really need? Now they got Bregman. I don't think they need Cody Bellinger. Right, let's go here. We got Dodgers. Do you want Cody Bellinger, Dodgers? You're already good. A's. I like that. Belly is signing with the A's. The anonymous A's. The A's without a location. He's not getting 7 years. No way. I know it's interesting that Buster Olney did say that the Yankees are operating under the impression that he's signing elsewhere. So if that is the case, it's probably the Mets. The Mets have had an awful offseason, like as bad an offseason as the Yankees have had. So they probably need to make a big splash, especially after losing Pete Alonso. I'm probably going to go 60-40 that he goes to the Mets, but I still think there's a 40% chance that he comes back cap in hand to the Yanks. The Mets are rebuilding. How can you rebuild when you got Juan Soto in the building? F the Blue Jays. Who's going to give Bellinger 7 years? No one. That's why Scott Boras and Bellinger have been disingenuous. Jays have better options than Bellinger. Got Mr. M in the chat. Again, love all these new commenters. Let's go Yankees. All right, Mr. M. Who do you think Bellinger goes to? You think he comes back to the Yanks, cap in hand, and apologizes for handling these negotiations disingenuously, and then is realistic, or do you think that he goes to like the Mets or the Jays or the Dodgers or the Cubs or whatever? Yeah, well, Mets. The Mets have had an awful season. Kermit in the chat. Hey, listen, I liked Kermit as a kid. Kermit was cool. He was a cool cat. Mr. M says he's coming back to the Yankees. The only way Belly's coming back to the Yankees if he accepts a shorter deal. Well, listen, I'd be okay with that. I mean, I'm not hating on the idea. See if Cody Bellinger agrees on a 3-4 year deal. I wouldn't hate that. But I'm sorry. I want Tucker. That's what I want. We need Tucker move on from Bailey. I agree. As soon as Bellinger turned down that 5-year deal worth $30+ million AAV, I would rescind that offer and tell him to go fish. Because there's 2 better players already in free agency than him. Bo Bichette, Kyle Tucker. Both are better than Cody Bellinger. So Cody Bellinger, get real. Get a hold of yourself. Get real. Yes. I am over Bellinger. Go fish. I'm absolutely over him. I think he's handled this disingenuously. He has every right to ask for as many dollars as he wants in free agency, but it's disingenuous to ask for 7 years as a player who's had 4 of his last 6 years of his career, 4 of his last 6, he's been an average to below average player. And you're wanting Aaron Judge money. Get a hold of yourself and get real. Absolutely ridiculous. Get a hold of yourself. $30+ million for someone to hit 29 home runs in a sandbox, and you're wanting Aaron Judge money for that. Go frickin' fish, man. What's he wanting? Like $2 million per home run? Frickin' clown. Healing Men's Hearts. If I were a major leaguer, I would stay away from Boris like the plague. Yep. Boris has no soul. Boris is good at what he does, but he's playing games. He's playing games. He's good at what he does, but he's playing games. If you want the bag, you go with Boris. I mean, he's just he made a clown of the Yanks, obviously, with the whole Ansona negotiations last year. And if I were the Yankees, they should have just been like, all right, you're honestly, go fish. Yeah, it's just the same games. He's not doing anything that he's never done before. He's just negotiating, Donald. What the F? That's not negotiating. That's not negotiating in good faith. I'm sorry. 7 years, you're not negotiating in good faith. If Pete Alonso and Schwarber are signing at the same age for 5 years, and you're wanting 7, and those 2 guys are better than you, you're not really negotiating in good faith. There's no precedent for Cody Bellinger to be getting that kind of money. I think he'd be like, wouldn't he be like the 4th highest paid outfielder in baseball? There's no precedent for that. It's completely egregious and outrageous what he's asking for. So I'm sorry. I do believe that Bellinger isn't operating in good faith, and that's why I'm out on him. Exactly. That's it. That's his range. 4 to 5 years, 34 million is fair for Cody Bellinger. I'd take that in a heartbeat. The fact he's not taking that is crazy to me. unlaughable. Bellinger gives you more on defense. I'm tired of hearing this about this defense and versatility. I honestly, I'm sick of hearing about that. Why? Because in 2021 he had a -2 WAR, and he had exactly the same versatility, and he was like 24. So how much is his versatility really worth? I think it's incredibly overrated. I think that versatility that we keep hearing about is overrated. What did that versatility get the Yankees last year? They lost the division and got absolutely spoon-fed by the Blue Jays. Ran over and reversed and ran over again. So, and he didn't even hit in the postseason, Cody Bellinger. So exactly how much is that versatility worth? That's not on him. I mean, it's on everybody. I'm just saying that I think that versatility is overrated. And if you look at his previous years, he's at a WAR of like 1, a WAR of like -1.6. Those have just been in the last couple of years. The Cubs basically got rid of him for absolutely nothing. And he had all that versatility. He had all that versatility before in his mid-20s, and he hasn't been very good. He's not been an all-star since 2019. Dave Rice is a Cody stan. God bless you. So is Uncle Tats. I'm just not a Cody stan. I'm just not. But I wanted us to trade for him. Yes. I thought that was a very smart trade. But I'm just not seeing anything that's worth $30+ million there. 29 home runs. 330 on base percentage. It's not that good. You do better. We had Aaron Hicks. Why does it have to be Aaron Hicks? Why are you bringing up Aaron Hicks? And you're overrating Bellinger's defense. Why are you bringing up Aaron Hicks? That's not fair. That ain't fair, my friend. Why are you bringing up this dude? Why are you bringing up this clown? My most hated Yankee of all time. Why are you bringing up this guy? You could have mentioned Brett Gardner, but you had to mention this fuck nugget. Oh God. Don't do that to me. Please. I'm in a good mood. Yes. We could just mention Dominguez. All right. What have we got here? What, A's fan? Are you guys the Vegas A's or where your Sacramento A's now? Bellinger reminds the 80s baby of Jim Edmonds and Brian Giles. Oh, I love Brian Giles and Jim Edmonds. Those are good players. The guy does the damn thing. Hicks is a nobody. Hicks sucked. Fuck Aaron Hicks. Fuck him to the moon. Fucking hate him. He should have been blasted to the moon long ago. Fuck that guy. Brian Giles. That was a great ball player. I love Brian Giles. That guy could play, man. Very good player for the Padres. As a San Francisco Giants fan, why you got an A's badge? I'm confused. As a San Francisco Giants fan, I never got the hype for Hicks. Wait, there was hype for Aaron Hicks? What did I miss here? I thought it was just Brian Cashman that hyped up Aaron Hicks. Oh God, why are we even talking about that fucking asshole? I don't want to talk about that fucking asshole. I hate him. Hate him. He caused me nothing but misery for years. Having to watch my favorite team with that fucker play every day. God, I hated that lazy bastard. Right, there we go. You're getting me rounded up here. Right, good. Calm down. Calm down. All fine. There's no Aaron Hicks. There's no Aaron Hicks. It's everything's fine. Okay, we got Anthony Volpe. That's bad enough. I don't need Aaron Hicks on my roster. Volpe over Aaron Hicks, yes, but only just. I mean, you're talking about like Stalin and Hitler. You guys are the Yankees. You shouldn't have average ball players starting for 5 straight years. Thank you. Please tell Brian Cashman that. If only shallow pockets thought that way too. Exactly. I mean, you got it in one there. Daily. You got that in one. The Yankees shouldn't have average ball players starting for 5 straight, especially to be compensated as they were. Excuse me. See, my body's rejecting the thought of Aaron Hicks. So, can we talk about some good players? You know, like Kyle Tucker or Bo Bichette, or let's do that. You right. Hal spends his money on martinis and yachts. That's a good game. Where do you think Hal is right now? Because he's certainly not at Yankee Stadium doing work. Is he in Tampa? Nah. I can see. God knows where he's at. He's probably in like South America or something. Where do you think he is? Because he's in a yacht somewhere, getting some heat. Dave Rice, what are you talking about, man? Are you on drugs? When did I ever say Barney Williams is better than Mickey Mantle? Come on. I don't want to yell at people in the chat. No, I don't think that. When did I ever say that? Hal is in the Caribbeans. That I can definitely see. Is he? What do you think? Yeah, he is. He's having a good time in the Caribbeans, getting martinis handed to him by scantily clad waitresses on his yacht. But he's too cheap to give any tips. Sorry, I'm poor. I can't afford to give you any tips. I can't afford to give you any tips. I have to save some pennies to give to the Yankee bullpen. Oh, don't say that. Well, to be fair, it's not really Mickey's restaurant, is it, though? Right? I mean, he's long deceased, so it's someone else that's running it. Ah, poor. That's it. Yeah. No, in all seriousness, it's freaking it's sad, man. It's really sad. Oh, you ate there in the 80s. Oh, okay. Right. So 40 years ago. As a matter of interest, where was that? Where is that restaurant? Durham. Because I was a because I'm a Westchester kid. Where was Ricky Mantle's restaurant? Was it in Westchester? Was it New York City? Where was it? Oh, it's New York. All right. Where? Midtown or is it still? Where is it? Is it still a restaurant now? Exactly. Oh, CP South. Okay. Is it still a restaurant? I don't know. I'll have to check it out. I have to check it out the next time I'm down there. Hal Cashman, Hal Cashman, Hal Steinbrenner says the waitress is sorry. I'm over the salary cap. Can't afford tips. Yeah, can't afford that 20%. I'm sorry. Can't do it. I've got to pay my bondsman. Do you know how much I owe to the city of New York? I owe $100 million to the city of New York. I can't afford. I can't afford these tips to you, scantily clad waitresses, please. Oh, restaurant's closed. 90% luxury tax. That's a shame that the restaurant's closed. I know that Lou Gehrig is buried, I believe, uh in the same places where my grandmother's buried. Mount Kisco? Okay, we got score update. 10-7 Bills. Not too high scoring. So I wonder if we got any more updates here regarding Kyle Tucker. God, I would love Kyle Tucker. Please, please, can we get Kyle Tucker? All right, here we go. Brian Hoke has an article on what the Yankees' plan B might be. Let's have a look and see what he's. Yeah, Canseco, that's the one. That's where my uh, that's where my grandmother's buried. I go a couple times a year to Canseco. Okay, let's see what they got here. Okay, Yankee negotiations with Bellinger and impasse. We've done that. We know that. Let's help Brian Hook. Bear with me. Okay. There we go. Right. Things elsewhere. The wounds were still fresh at the conclusion. Blah 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 blah. Right. Okay. Were believed to be in the range of 5 years, at least 30 mil per season. The package is comparable in length and value to Pete Alonso and Kyle Schwarber. Bellinger is seeking a long commitment, possibly 7 years. That is absurd. Bellinger 27. I think he's worth 27. He was worth. With his 5.1 B WAR, that was his strongest season since his All-Star year in 2019. When he was the National League Most Valuable Player with an 8.7 WAR. That variance is part of the evaluation. Bellinger cratered in 21 with Los Angeles, a minus 1.6 WAR. That's disgraceful. Rebounded with a 4.8 WAR, but then dipped again to 2.2 WAR. So we should be paying attention to that and not going anywhere near 7 years. Free agency has moved slowly apart from a tour of the Blue Jays training facility. Okay. MLB Mark Feinstein report that Tucker is seeking a long-term deal worth at least $300 million. In recent years, the Yankees have added weighty 9-figure deals, including packages for Judge, Cole, Rodon, and Fried. They're offered to Bellinger, represented another. Cashman says we are an aggressive franchise, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're not. Bo Bichette represents an appealing pivot. I very much agree. Bichette's asking price is also thought to be around about $300 million. And he has a meeting set for tomorrow with the Phils. Bichette would give the Yankees a potent right-handed bat, addressing a concern with the lineup imbalance. I agree. In theory, Bichette could open the season at shortstop while Volpe recovers, but scouts believe that Bichette profiles better long-term at second or third. A Bichette signing would thus open trade avenues potentially for starting pitcher, with the Yankees have expressing interest in Peralta and Mackenzie Gore. Well, I mean, you're not saying anything that we don't already know. I apologize. You guys getting lag? Apologize for that. I'll check that out. So that's where we're at. Hulk is not saying anything we don't already know. Bo Bichette would be a great pivot. Bo Bichette or Kyle Tucker would be a brilliant pivot. That's the way it should be going anyway, because both are better than Cody Bellinger. So I think that would be a great pivot. But if Cody Bellinger came back and went, listen, guys, I apologize. I lost my mind. And turns out the Mets don't like me as much as I thought they did. Let's go back to the table. And they agree to deal like 3-4 years at 30 mil AAV, then I'll be fine with it. But what, 5 to 7? It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. So I'm hoping that this is the Yankees drawing a line in the sand and then getting real. Because let's be honest, if Cody Bellinger came back, the Yankees are not a better team. They're exactly the same team as last year, and it wasn't good enough. So you have to be out of your mind if you think that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is suddenly going to magically make the Yankees a better team. No. So I'm all on board with the prospect of doing something a little bit different. Let's go a little bit wild. Let's go and get that star in Kyle Tucker. Let's give him a legit bat. Give the Yankee offense a bit of a legit bat, a legit kick in the teeth that it needs. And I think it will make the fans excited. I think the fan base needs a big signing to get excited. I'm hearing that season ticket sales are low. This is the lowest the fan base has been in a long, long time. They're not bought into this at all. And I think that Hal Steinbrenner really hurt sales by his pleading poverty. So I think that if they did something a little bit different and signed Bo Bichette and signed Kyle Tucker, then I think the fan base would be interested again. I mean, certainly me. At the moment, I'd be completely disinterested if they just rolled back last year. Cody Bellinger, Mackenzie Gore, and a bullpen arm. That's not nearly enough. And I would not expect anything from this team. I think it would be a third-place team in the AL East, frankly. But if they went a little bit different, went the direction of a Bo Bichette or a Kyle Tucker, now you have my attention. Maybe we can do something. Maybe we could actually compete with the Blue Jays for the East. But just rolling it back with Mackenzie, with trading for Mackenzie Gore and signing Cody Bellinger, that's not doing anything. That's probably a third-place team in the East as it stands. So I'm up for doing something a little different. That's where I'm at. So I'm excited. This is the most excited I've been of this offseason was when I read that the Yankees have drawn a line in the sand on Cody Bellinger. It's kind of sad that that's where we're at. But that was the most excited I've been because then it opened up some possibilities that maybe we can actually make this team a better team instead of just rolling it back. Yeah, 3 years at 30 would be good for Bell. I agree. That would be fine. Again, it doesn't really move the needle for me, but in terms of value, very good. That's what I would do. But even 5 years for him, I think, is far too much. 5 years is far too much for him. But considering it's in line with Schwarber and Pete Alonso, it's maybe not the end of the world, but any more than that than it would be. So I'm glad the Yankees have drawn a line in the sand, and it's up now to Boris and Cody Bellinger to get real, or else they go to the Mets or somewhere else, and that's fine. Go to the Dodgers. God bless you. I hope you do. I want to do things a little different. Let's get creative. Let's do something a little wild. Let's do something different. Let's change this team up a little bit. It needs changed up. It really does. And it's no disrespect to Cody Bellinger, who was a very good player for us last year, but he's not a great player. And I'm not going to be pleading on my hands and knees for someone who isn't a great player. That's just kind of stupid. Juan Soto, that's who I go over above the odds for. Absolutely. But he's gone now. Bellinger is not that. Not by a long shot. So, yeah, let's pivot. Let's do something a little different. Well, we've had a really good stream. Almost 2 hours. Tons of people in the chat. If everybody could do this, do the good things, do the good stuff, hit the like button, hit the sub button. Shout out to all the fans from other teams that have come in to say hello. Guys, been good fun. And all the new people in the chat that have come in to say hello. Thank you so much. Thank you for the Sunday stream. My pleasure. Thank you, Healing Mans. Had a good time. That's great. I appreciate it. We'll have another stream coming up soon and some breaking news on the channel. Yeah, we got some breaking news. So you'll hear that next week with myself and Uncle Tats. We will have some breaking news for the channel. You may or may not be getting an exciting new member, but that will be up to you guys to check out next week. So it's been a good, fun chat. As I say, I'll always come back with any breaking news. Hate you too, Theron. My pleasure, brother. All the best. See you next time. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your NFL Sundays. enjoy playoff Sunday. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plant my ass on the couch and watch some NFL, and hope that the Yankees sign somebody soon. Hopefully not Cody Bellinger though. Anyway, God bless, guys. Have a great one. We'll see each other soon. Take care. Power to the Yankee fans. I agree with that. Good one. Yeah, later. Later, Andy. Thank you, man. Take care. Bye.